Hi friends, greetings to you all. Today we will see some details about New Zealand skilled migration category. Everybody aspires to migrate to countries such as New Zealand, a beautiful country where many people wanted to go on a skilled migration application. Let us see how we can make a skilled migration application to New Zealand. My name is Venkateswaran Krishnan. I am a licensed immigration advisor for New Zealand. I am also an Australian lawyer. Please note that this is not a migration advice or immigration legal advice. This does not constitute any individualized advice or any solution to your immigration problem. This is a mere overview on a skilled migration category in New Zealand. So what are the key aspects to migrate to New Zealand? One of the most important is the New Zealand migration is point based. Unless you meet certain level of points or you are able to claim this level of points, you will not be able to migrate to New Zealand. What is that? The total points required is 160 points. These 160 points that can generally be claimed from few aspects, that is your age, your education level, your experience level, and depending on your occupation skill shortage list, a bonus point, and your spouse point. These are the basically 5 areas where you can score points: your age, your education, your experience, and the relevancy of your experience, and spouse points. Additionally, in case you studied in New Zealand or you worked in New Zealand or both, these things can add up to additional points. Ultimately, all these points should add up at least to 160 points currently. Current regulations do accept applications into the pool if you are 100 plus points. If you score 100 points plus, you are theoretically able to apply. However, please note that recent trend in the selection process from the pool is being only 160. People who do not meet 160 points are unable to be selected from the pool. So it is my personal experience that people should have 160 points to be anywhere near selection criteria. If not, currently it is not really feasible for them. Now, before we go into all these things, what are the steps required? It's very clear steps defined for New Zealand. All the aspirants of skilled migrants need to make an application, that is submit an expression of interest. Only based on the expression of interest submission, you will be invited to make a visa application. Only then you make the real visa application. So this is the process actually. That being said, you should be able to substantiate whatever claims you made in the expression of interest. That is important. So expression of interest is mainly to claim your points, and in case you are selected based on the expression of interest, you should be in a position to submit all the relevant documents and proof and evidences that you meet those claims you submitted in the expression of interest. Now, before even going to the expression of interest, one has to complete various pre-application requirements. The pre-application requirements are the following. One is, first of all, you should nominate an occupation. The nominated occupation should preferably be in the long-term skill shortage list, or what is otherwise called an absolute skill shortage list. So, unless you are in that long-term skill shortage list or an absolute skill shortage list, you will not be able to apply for migration at all. So that occupation you need to define. Supposing your occupation is not in the long-term skill shortage list and it is only a short-term skill shortage list, you can make an application provided your employment is in a comparable labor market. What are the comparable labor markets? Comparable labor markets are comparable to New Zealand circumstances, that is Australia, Canada, USA, UK, Ireland, Malaysia. Such few countries are listed. Only if you are having an employment in these countries, you will be then considered to have met the requirement, if you are not in the absolute skill shortages. Alternatively, you are working in one of these comparable market, but you work for a multinational company. The company is having offices in various locations like Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and or Ireland, UK. If a company is having branches in many of these countries, a multinational company having located everywhere, so this sort of employment will also help you to lodge your claim for skilled migration category in case your occupation is not in the absolute skill shortage. So these are the background. The next important aspect, apart from nomination and ensuring that you're working in a relevant area, the next important aspect you need to decide and is that whether the degree or the qualification, whatever you have, it meets the New Zealand qualification level. What are the New Zealand qualification level? Normally in New Zealand, it will be looked into. If you have a diploma, it should be at level 6 at least, or level 7 or equivalent. Then if you are a bachelor's degree, it will be looked at level 7 of New Zealand qualification, and level 8 is your postgraduate diploma level. Your master's degree is normally level 9 qualification, and the doctoral degree is usually level 10. So these are the qualification. It should meet those criteria on the first place. How do you do that? So we need to apply for something called New Zealand Qualification Assessment Authority, NZQA, Qualification Assessment Authority. So they verify your degree, the length and breadth and depth of your degree, and they compare with that of Australian normal degree, and then they will let New Zealand normal degree and let you know whether you meet the New Zealand standards of education. So this is an important step. So the first step is to understand the occupation. Then accordingly, if you have the relevant qualifications, submit your application to NZQA even before you apply, so that you are clear that you're having the adequate qualification. Suppose you have more than one qualification. Suppose, for example, you have a bachelor's degree in physics and a master's degree in IT, and it depends on the type of occupation you look for. It's better to get all these degrees assessed. Sometimes it's better to get both the bachelor's degree and the master's degree assessed. And currently, for each degree, you should separate out diploma, whatever you want to get assessed. It has to be applied separately. There's about $465 or something is the New Zealand NZQA fee. You have to submit separate application for each qualification that you want to get assessed. Why it is important? Because a bachelor degree will get a lesser points, and a master degree will get more points, and your bachelor degree will be normally what meets the qualification criteria. In that case, you need to ensure that bachelor degree assessed for the qualification, and your master degree gets the points as well. So you are in a system where you have to get all these assessed. Most of the applicants will be required to claim points for spouse qualification as well. In that circumstances, the spouse degree also must be assessed by NZQA. So this is the first step. Then the next important thing before you submit the expression of interest is that you need to have if you have to demonstrate your English ability, your competency in English. How do you demonstrate that? You have to compulsorily take an IELTS test or equivalent, which is a PT test. You must score 6.5 overall for an IELTS test, and which should be less than 2 years old. You cannot submit a IELTS test score which is more than 2 years old. Similarly, on the other hand, you can take PTE as well. A PTE can be at 58 points overall. So this is what is compulsory. In case of spouse who is claiming points, in that case, spouse also should have had an IELTS 6.5 overall average or PTE 558. Another aspect is, in case the spouse is not claiming points, still need to have some English demonstration ability, which is demonstrated for 5 overall 5 bands of IELTS. So these are the common aspects required. Of course, if you do not claim points for spouse and spouse still does not meet any English requirement, there is a way they can pay an additional fee so that they get the English training once they are inside New Zealand. So these are the pre-requirements. Once you have your IELTS and your degree assessments ready, then you and lodge the explanation of interest. The explanation of interest will be valid for 6 months from the date of application, and you need to pay $650, $540 as a processing fee. During this process, the immigration New Zealand will go through your various details you provided, your job and your skill sets, whatever you claimed, and based on that, if they think you are able to meet 160 points, they will invite you and ask you to submit an application for skilled migration category visa. So this is the actual visa you'll be applying only after getting the invitation to apply. And you will be given 4 months time to apply for this visa. Within this 4 months time, you need to complete your police clearance certificate and also medical certificate, medical clearances, all these, and then along with the required documents for whatever claims you have made towards your points and others in your expression of interest, you need to submit all those documents. Currently it is a hard copy, although expression of interest is online. The actual visa application is actually submit hard copies. You should ensure that all are packed and sent to the New Zealand their immigration New Zealand in a given address within 4 months from the date of invitation. So this is the background. Now from that time onwards, it may take up to 1 year for the person to be selected to be granted the visa. And the visa sometimes are only 1 year job search visa, and once you have obtained a job in your nominated occupation in New Zealand within that 1 year, your visa will be made permanent resident visa. This being said, now we need to look at what are the points. You said 160 points. How do you meet 160 points? 160 points basically your degree. Degree can, if you have a degree level, it will be 50 points. A postgraduate will get 70 points, whereas if you have only a diploma level, you will get only 40 points. That is the first thing. Unfortunately, there is no points allocated for high scores of English. There is no points allocated, although you should meet the minimum requirement. Next one is your experience. If you have 10 years experience, you can claim 50 points. Every 2 years less, you will be able to get 10 points lesser. The minimum will be 2 years, for which you will be able to get 10 points. And the next one will be based on, because your experience fell in absolute skill shortage list, you will be able to claim 10 points if your experience is up to 5 years. If you have more than 5 years, so 6+ years, you will be able to get 15 points. Then your spouse qualification. Spouse is having a diploma or degree, having at least a degree level, then you will get 10 points. If the spouse is having a master's degree level, you will be able to claim 20 points. Additionally, people who have studied or worked in New Zealand can also claim points. And similarly, if the husband or wife of the main applicant or any of the spouse have a sibling settled in New Zealand, or parents or close relative, blood relative settled in New Zealand, that will also add 10 points. So compiling all these points, you will have to have 160 points. If you have 160 points, you will be invited to make the final visa application. If you do not have 160 points, you will be kept in the pool for next 6 months, hoping for a chance if there is a requirement, especially for a specific occupation. Certain occupations are always on demand, so they may come back and visit that one and provide you, invite you in case you are in that particular category. This happens periodically, normally once in a month or once in a certain period, and they periodically come and visit and let you know this invitation. So now to sum up, it's clear-cut process. Take your NZQA assessment depending on the occupation. Ensure that you get your degree assessed. Get your IELTS done. Ensure that your spouse also completes the same thing in case claiming spouse points, and then ensure that you total up your points for various aspects of yours and submit an expression of interest. Based on the expression of interest, get invited and apply for the visa along with the supporting documents, including medical checks and police clearances. And then wait for about 6 months to 1 year to get a grant on your visa. I hope I made the entire process easily understandable. Thank you so much.